Hey, I'm here with Justin Lind, and I am Shane Trotter, and we're here to talk about the 30 by 30 challenge. So the place to start in is probably, why did we want to build this challenge, and what is the challenge of being a human in the modern world, and what is the challenge of finding fulfillment in the modern environment?
Yeah, that is the question. It's kind of the question for the ages. Um, with IHD, we talk about what we call the standard model, and most everything we do is kind of combating that and trying to find ways of living and ways of being fulfilled that are outside of that. So I guess the easy definition of what the standard model is it's just the kind of standard way of being. It's the promise that if you just follow the American dream, the get the education, get the good job, all of that kind of stuff, that you will be happy. And even the people that try to look outside of that tend to do so in a very still within the standard model way. That's the biggest issue that I see. So there might be a lot of people that realize that, oh, if I eat how the TV commercials tell me to, I'm not going to be very healthy. But even when they try to craft some program to get healthy or get their physical health back on track, they'll do so in a way that is, maybe following some infomercial product or counting calories and all of those type of methods that are seemingly aimed at health are better than nothing, but they are still much within that standard model of thinking. So for us, it's really looking outside of the norm and figuring out what your values are, and then really trying to dictate your actions and your patterns and all the themes in your life around your personal values.
Absolutely. So the standard model is um, it's completely divergent from our human needs. And I
Mm.
think that's kind of where we get this issue. So much of the modern issues, we're seeing skyrocketing obesity, mental health disorder, depression, suicide, drug overdose, and so these are no coincidence that they're all happening at the same time. So i- it's getting back in touch with what are the human needs, what dictates those human needs, where is our environment not fulfilling those or not contributing to those, and how do we start to approach the world in a different way? How do we start to think of ourselves differently, so that we can kind of organically change our values? And of course, we get into values in the program quite a few times because they tend, between values and habits, you can pretty much figure out your actions. There's certainly a lot there. When you're talking about leaving the standard model and how challenging that is to do. But you had a very real example of that. You followed the standard model of success, that what mainstream culture calls success. You had a great job, and we were just talking before the recording started, actually, and September 17th,
Yeah.
5 years ago, you said whoop, and you flew away.
Yeah. I just passed the 5 year anniversary, really, of kind of leaving my standard path. But I can go into that a little bit. But before I do, I want to go back to something that you brought up about the environment not really matching our true human needs. And the way I think about it is, it's really easy to praise the modern world for all of the advances that happen. I mean, like there's absolutely no knock on Western medicine and the amazing things that technology can do and the power that we have in our pockets with our phones and the connectivity of all of these things. But if you look at all of the human measures of thriving, there's a mental health crisis, these mass shootings are on the rise, obesity is just at like absolutely epidemic levels. So there's all of these measures that if we're thinking about our entire population as a single body, there might be some things that are going really well, but we're more sick than ever before, right? It's like our societal body is incredibly sick, and that can't be ignored. So it's telling us that there's something wrong. No matter how good things are, if all these other measures of health and happiness are declining, there's something
Hmm.
wrong. And the biggest thing is something that you touched on, the way that the modern world is set up. And if you aren't thinking intentionally about how you're living your life and you're just kind of going about your day, the type of influences that you're getting, the type of food you're getting, the type of inputs your body is getting are completely contrary to what most humans got for nearly all of human history. So the world that we're living in it's a cage, and it's not even a very good false habitat because it's not really serving all these biological things that we need. Um, and I guess going back to my personal story, I was already pretty in tune with my physical health and all of those type of things, but I just realized that I was on a path that wasn't serving me any deeper. I was doing engineering, and I think a good question to ask yourself when you're on any path is to look at the people that are further ahead on that and ask, is that where I want to go? Because obviously you can do things in your own way, but the engineering managers that I had and some of the guys that were 5 to 10 years older than me that had been at the company longer and all that, I looked at that, and they were all great people. We used to spend time together. Some of them were pretty darn healthy and some fitness mentors of mine, but I still looked at that path and it's like, well, if that's the direction I'm walking, I don't want that. I don't want to get to a point where I've been doing this for the past 10 years and I'm just a better version of this current thing that I'm doing. I want something completely separate, and that was kind of my moment when I had to leave.
Well, and the toughest part is to actually have that moment and then follow through on it. And and I think that rounds to where we are so well. It's that we know what we want to do and we know things aren't right, but how do we take the action? How do we actually follow through? How do we keep ourselves from falling in this loop for year on year on year and going on the more comfortable, more well-trodden path? We have that herd instinct
Oh
by
yeah.
nature. So
Yeah.
um, hopefully that's what the 30 by 30 does for people, is
Yeah.
gives them a little bit of nudge out to look outside the
Yeah.
standard.
And that's what it aims to do. We are guiding you through this journey, but there's also a community of people that have done this. There's group discussion pages. There's going to be weekly webinars as a way to connect with people that are kind of going through this same process. And the details might look entirely different, but it's that looking for something else. That's what we all share. And that's what we hope connects everyone that goes through this program, and that's really what we've aimed to provide is the tools to go off and make that change, but also the community support to feel empowered to continue on that path once you do make a shift.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for watching, and life is too short to be normal. We'll catch you later.